You spot a small grey body crossing your basement floor, armoured like a miniature tank and moving with the slow determination of something that clearly does not belong in your house. Your first reaction is immediate. Step on it, sweep it away, erase the problem. Wait a second. It is a living moisture alarm. That pillbug is not attacking your foundation, nesting in your furniture, or hunting for food in your kitchen. It is wandering through an environment that should normally be too dry for it to survive. When one appears in your basement, especially when several appear night after night, the important question is not, how do you kill it? The important question is, what is keeping this part of your house damp enough for a land-dwelling crustacean? Because that is what you are looking at. Not an insect, but a distant terrestrial relative of crabs, shrimp, and lobsters. Its body depends on moisture in a way that ants, beetles, and cockroaches do not. Crushing the animal removes one visible messenger while leaving the leak, condensation, wet wood, failing downspout, or saturated foundation untouched. In the next few minutes, you are going to learn what this creature really is, why it enters your basement, what it reveals about conditions around your home, when it is harmless, when it can damage plants, and exactly what you should do when you find one. Crustacean, Armadillidium vulgare. The common pillbug, also called a roly-poly or woodlouse, belongs to the order Isopoda, a group of crustaceans whose name means equal feet, referring to the similarly shaped walking legs along the body. An adult usually measures about 1/3 to 2/3 of an inch long, with large individuals approaching 18 millimeters. Turn one over and you can count 7 pairs of walking legs, giving it 14 legs rather than the 6 found on insects. Its dark grey or brown back is divided into overlapping armoured plates, and those plates allow the animal to fold itself into a nearly sealed ball when disturbed. That rolling behaviour is called conglobation, which simply means curling the body into a defensive sphere. It protects the softer underside from predators, but it also reduces exposed surface area and slows water loss. That second function matters because a pillbug's greatest everyday danger is not your shoe. It is dehydration. Unlike a beetle with a strongly water-resistant outer covering, a pillbug loses moisture relatively easily and must remain near damp surfaces, humid air, and sheltered crevices. Armadillidium vulgare originated in Europe but is now widespread across the United States. You can find it beneath flower pots in California, under leaf litter in Missouri, beside foundations in Maryland, and inside humid crawl spaces in Florida. It travels readily with soil, landscaping materials, compost, nursery plants, and human commerce. Yet, it is not a cockroach, not a silverfish, not a millipede, and not the same animal as a sowbug. A sowbug usually has 2 tail-like projections extending from the rear and cannot form a completely closed ball. A true pillbug tucks those structures inside and rolls tightly enough to resemble a small grey bead. You see a pillbug wandering across concrete and assume it has chosen your basement as a home. The reality is usually the opposite. Indoor rooms are ecological traps for it. Pillbugs normally live outside, under mulch, stones, boards, bark, compost, grass clippings, and decaying leaves. They are most active at night, when lower temperatures and higher humidity reduce the rate at which water leaves their bodies. During the day, they press themselves into protected spaces where the surrounding air remains damp. Their main ecological role is decomposition. A pillbug bites into softened leaves, dead plant tissue, fungi, algae, and other organic debris. Its mouthparts grind that material into smaller particles. The fragments passing through its digestive system return to the soil as finer organic matter, increasing the surface area available to bacteria and fungi. In your yard, that helps move nutrients from fallen vegetation back into the soil. The pillbug is not manufacturing fertility from nothing. It is physically processing material so the larger decomposition system can work more efficiently. Its life cycle is equally unlike that of an insect. A female carries eggs in a fluid-filled brood pouch called a marsupium, a chamber on the underside of her body that protects the developing young. Depending on the female's size and environmental conditions, a brood may contain fewer than 10 eggs, or as many as roughly 200. The eggs can take about 3 to 7 weeks to hatch. The pale young remain associated with the pouch for several additional weeks before leaving. Individuals commonly produce 1 or 2 broods in a year and may survive for around 2 years when temperature, food, and moisture remain suitable. Now imagine you find pillbugs beside a basement storage shelf. They are not eating the concrete, and they are not boring through the lumber. They may nibble mold, softened cardboard, or decaying plant material trapped nearby. But healthy structural wood is not their normal food. Their presence tells you that they entered through a crack, door gap, utility opening, window well, or foundation joint, probably from a dense outdoor population living close to the wall. Outside, however, the same decomposer can occasionally become a plant feeder. The change usually occurs where moisture is high, pillbug numbers are concentrated, and tender living tissue is touching damp soil. Newly emerged seedlings, strawberries resting on mulch, low lettuce leaves, cucumbers, young beans, and soft stems can all be damaged. The feeding mark is typically an irregular scraped depression or ragged-edged hole near the soil surface. On a seedling, the stem may be rasped close to ground level, leaving the plant wilted or partially severed. On a strawberry, you may find a shallow cavity that begins where the fruit touches wet mulch, with pillbugs hidden inside it during daylight. That damage can resemble the work of other nighttime feeders, but the evidence is different. A slug usually leaves a shiny or silvery slime trail across the soil, leaf, container, or fruit. Pillbugs leave no slime. A caterpillar often chews larger sections from the outer edge of a leaf and may leave dark pellet-like droppings called frass. Pillbug feeding is more likely to occur underneath low foliage, along soft tissue pressed against the ground, or at the base of a very young plant. Aphids do not chew holes at all. They pierce plant tissue and remove sap, producing curled leaves, sticky honeydew, and clusters of small insects along stems or leaf undersides. When you inspect damage, the shape of the wound, its height above the soil, the presence or absence of slime, and a nighttime visit with a flashlight can identify the actual feeder. You see a dozen pillbugs beneath a flower pot and worry that your yard is being invaded. In most situations, they are performing useful cleanup. A moderate population can process dead leaves, grass fragments, rotting mulch, and fungi without noticeably injuring healthy plants. They also become food for spiders, ground beetles, centipedes, frogs, toads, shrews, and birds. Your yard does not depend on pillbugs alone, but they occupy a real position in the food web and decomposition chain. Their benefit is especially clear when you compare them with chemical control. A broad insecticide, applied around your foundation, may kill pillbugs that cross the treated area, but it can also affect predatory beetles, spiders, and other arthropods that naturally consume pests. It does nothing to repair a dripping pipe or redirect rainwater. Killing the visible animals while maintaining wet mulch against the foundation guarantees that more can arrive from the same habitat. Moisture reduction changes the environment itself, while pesticide treatment only attacks individuals passing through it. There is also an important limit to what pillbugs can do for your garden. They are decomposers, not predators. They will not control aphids, fungus gnats, cockroaches, termites, or mosquito larvae. Their household benefit is not that they kill pests for you. Their benefit is that their bodies provide information. A single pillbug after a heavy rain may be an accidental visitor. Finding 5 or 10 near the same basement wall on several consecutive nights is a stronger signal that the wall, soil outside it, or entry route is staying damp. In the garden, the threshold changes when living plants are being lost. 10 pillbugs hiding under a board with no fresh damage require no intervention. 20 gathered beneath a wet pot are still not automatically a problem. But when 2 or more newly planted seedlings in the same bed are girdled or chewed at soil level within 48 hours, and a nighttime inspection shows pillbugs actively feeding, their role has shifted from decomposition to measurable crop damage. At that point, protect the seedlings and reduce the conditions concentrating the animals. Counting bodies alone is less useful than linking the animals to fresh injury. You may recoil when the pillbug curls into a ball as though it is preparing to bite. It is doing the reverse. It is withdrawing. Armadillidium vulgare has no venom apparatus, no stinger, and no medically significant bite. It does not parasitize you, feed on blood, infest your hair, or attack pets. Its mouthparts are adapted to scraping and grinding soft organic material, not piercing human skin. You can allow one to crawl across your hand without expecting an injury, although washing your hands afterward is sensible whenever you handle soil-dwelling animals. You may also notice that a pillbug sometimes walks faster after being exposed. That speed is escape behavior, not aggression. In humid shelter, it can move slowly because water loss is limited. In dry air, it may increase its movement while searching for a more humid refuge. It is not charging toward you, it is trying to reach a crack, damp edge, shadow, or object before dehydration becomes dangerous. The animal can carry ordinary microbes from soil and decaying material on its body, just as an earthworm or garden stone can, but it is not considered a meaningful household disease vector. The greater health concern is the environment that supports repeated indoor appearances. Persistent basement moisture can support molds, mildew, dust mites, book lice, and wood decay fungi. It can damage cardboard, carpet backing, wall coverings, sill plates, and stored belongings. The pillbug is not creating those conditions. It is revealing that the conditions may already exist. You find one near the floor drain, and your first thought is that it came up through the plumbing. More often, trace its route horizontally. Look along the joint where the wall meets the floor. Check the corner beneath a basement window. Examine the space behind shelving, the gap under an exterior door, and the area around pipes or cables passing through the foundation. Then go outside and inspect the same section of wall. If the ground slopes toward your house, rainfall can collect against the foundation. If a downspout empties beside that wall, roof runoff may saturate the soil. A single inch of rain falling on a 2,000 square foot roof represents roughly 1,250 gallons of water. When even part of that volume is released beside one foundation corner, the surrounding soil can remain wet long after the storm ends. Pillbugs gather beneath nearby mulch, stones, landscape timbers, dense ground cover, and wet leaves. From there, they need only a narrow opening to enter. Their location can narrow the diagnosis. Pillbugs appearing after every storm point toward exterior drainage, foundation cracks, window wells, or saturated soil. Pillbugs present during hot summer weather, especially near cool concrete walls, may indicate condensation caused when warm, humid air meets a colder basement surface. Animals clustered beneath a utility sink suggest a leaking supply line, drain connection, or condensation on a cold pipe. Animals found near damp cardboard indicate that stored material is absorbing moisture from the slab or wall. A heavy indoor migration can also mean there is a large outdoor population immediately beside the building, even when the basement itself is too dry for long-term survival. Look at the animals themselves. If most are active and spread through a limited area, they may have entered recently and found usable humidity. If they are curled, motionless, or dead several feet from the wall, they probably crossed into a room too dry for them and failed to find shelter. Dead pillbugs do not prove the basement is dry. They may mean the entry point is damp while the center of the room is not. Your investigation should begin where the bodies are concentrated, not where the farthest individual finally stopped. So what should you do when you see one? Your first option is to leave it temporarily while you inspect the area. One animal is not an emergency, and observing its direction of travel may help you locate the opening. Do not confuse leave it with ignore the building. Check for darkened wood, white mineral deposits on masonry, peeling paint, musty odor, condensation, wet insulation, swollen cardboard, dripping pipes, and moisture along the wall-floor joint. A basic humidity meter can help you compare the suspect corner with the rest of the basement. Keeping indoor relative humidity around 30 to 50% is a practical target for comfort and moisture control, although the correct level also depends on outdoor temperature and condensation risk. Your second option is relocation. Slide a sheet of stiff paper beneath the pillbug, place a cup over it, and carry it outside. Release it under leaf litter or another sheltered area well away from the foundation. You can also vacuum scattered individuals, but empty the vacuum promptly so damp organic debris does not remain inside. There is no need to crush the animal, spray the room, or pour chemicals along the floor. Your third and most important option is to fix the root cause. Remove wet leaves, boards, grass clippings, firewood, and thick mulch touching the foundation. Leave a dryer inspection strip beside the wall where practical. Repair leaking faucets, drain joints, and condensation-prone pipes. Seal gaps around doors, windows, utility lines, and cracks after the moisture source has been addressed. Clean gutters and extend downspouts so water discharges at least several feet from the house. Make sure the soil slopes away from the foundation rather than forming a basin beside it. Vent a clothes dryer outdoors, cover an open sump correctly, and use mechanical dehumidification when indoor humidity remains high. Remember that a dehumidifier controls airborne moisture. It does not repair a failed gutter, rising groundwater, or water flowing through a crack. Use a concrete intervention threshold. One pillbug after a storm calls for inspection. 5 or more appearing in the same basement zone on 3 consecutive nights calls for a focused moisture and entry point investigation. Any pillbug found beside visible water, wet wood, mold growth, or deteriorating cardboard calls for immediate correction of the moisture source. In your garden, intervene when fresh feeding kills or seriously injures 2 seedlings within 48 hours, and you directly observe pillbugs feeding after dark. Protect young plants with dry collars, raise fruit off wet soil, reduce excessive mulch around tender stems, and water early enough for the surface to dry before night. Do not treat an entire yard simply because pillbugs are present beneath ordinary leaf litter. The pillbug on your basement floor is easy to blame because you can see it. The more serious problem may be invisible water moving through soil, condensing on concrete, leaking from a pipe, or collecting behind a finished wall. Crushing the animal gives you a moment of control while silencing a useful clue. Read the clue instead. Follow its route, inspect the damp edge of your house, and correct the condition that allowed a moisture-dependent crustacean to cross your floor. Have you ever run into a pillbug in your own home? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. If you want to know who else is living in your house, subscribe. In the next episode, you will meet another quiet basement visitor whose location can reveal exactly where smaller prey are hiding. See you in the next episode.